worsening of mood prior to their period, like, you know, not just a little bit of PMS, but like it's bad, you know, it's noticeable. And that in itself is a marker that they might be sensitive to hormonal dysregulation at any reproductive phase. So in pregnancy, postpartum, perimenopause, even going through infertility treatments. And so yes, puberty definitely is a good time to better understand and know, you know, that you have these symptoms that may predict later concerns as well.
So this is a double barrel question for both of you as well. We know that there are ethnic differences in a person's brain health and mental health. So can we also talk about that and in general, the vulnerabilities? What are the risk factors that you may see that may increase someone's prevalence perhaps of having a mental health issue throughout either one of those developmental stages? In other words, what can we know going into it? If we're in this room because we want to learn, right? So it's either about our own health or someone that we know, someone we're raising, that we can either smooth the way or perhaps recognize and mitigate risk factors. And perhaps ethnicity and race is one of those. Am I getting that right?
I'll start with the puberty angle. And so what I would say is this is so complicated and it's so understudied, right? So we do not have enough information to easily answer that question. There are a lot of things going on. There can be a genetic component to something, and there can also be a sociocultural component to something. So for example, with puberty onset, to be honest, the biggest predictor of whether you're going to have an onset of a mood disorder during puberty if you're a girl is the timing of your puberty. Did you go through puberty early or through puberty late? Okay, early is a higher risk of onset of a mood disorder. However, age of onset of pubertal timing is associated with ethnicity. So that might be a factor, but you have to be cautious about assigning it to a genetic component versus a sociocultural component, because then if there are issues with socioeconomic status, stability of the community, things like that, then that is also influencing. So it's important to tease it apart. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes, I would agree with that as well. And we don't know enough about brain changes and if there are any specific differences between racial groups. But what we do know is that certain groups are more at risk for experiences, adverse trauma, for example. Trauma definitely can change the brain, and we're still trying to understand the ways in which it does that. Definitely systemic determinants of health as well as social determinants of health. So we're thinking about, you know, where you grew up, where were you educated, what type of resources did you have access to, whether that's a good grocery store, less fast food, a green park, all those types of things. So what type of household did you grow up in? All of these factors impact mental health and can definitely have an impact on mental health in the long run.